Good afternoon, Represent Radio. Now, we are joined by an incredible special guest on today's show. Now, this is one of those artists that can just do both things at once. He is an incredible vocal talent. He's also an incredible producer. I would like to welcome to the show right now, Blizzi. How you doing?
Yeah, bless up Gully B. You don't know, trending straight from Jamaica, you know what I mean? You don't know, bless up the whole of England, bless up the whole of the world. All my fans listening worldwide, trending.
It's so good to have you here on the show, man, because we're literally 1 week away from the drop of your brand new EP that I know I've been waiting on for quite some time now as well. How does the anticipation feel for you now? And we know it's coming. We've got 1 week until it drops. Like, how has it been building, and how excited are you to drop the new project?
I am just very excited. I'm also just very humbled to be able to just release music and, having people give their reaction and their feedback to my work, over the years. And I'm just very excited to have everyone be a part of this one, 7 years of dedication EP.
Well, we're excited to be a part of listening to it as well. And we're going to be jumping into one of the tracks later on as well. And we're going to be hearing the full EP next week. But I wanted to kind of talk about one thing that you really do better than most people. And that is the fact you produce a lot of the rhythms as well as feature as the artist on them. So how do you separate the two in your mind? Like, what's the process for you to know when you're the producer and when you're the artist? Or do they just come together as one?
Well, firstly, I'm a musician, so, both things blend, When I'm vibing in the studio, it's not just a beat, we're thinking about the song, we're thinking about who could be on this beat, So it's just a great creative process, and it's fun, It's not drawn out, so, I think of the two, every single time.
Well, it's definitely done well for you in your career, because you've worked with some of the greatest in the game, as well as being one of the greatest in the game. I've seen you working with the likes of Chronixx, with Bounty Killer, Burna Boy, Sizzla, and of course your grandfather, Toots, Hibbert. And of course, we're very sorry for the loss of Toots in September. But do you feel as if that loss has maybe helped channel the drive to keep creating your own musical legacy, to keep that kind of pattern of music going on forward? Like, how has that been an influence for you growing up as well?
With the inventor of reggae being my grandfather, it is very big shoes to fill, So it has given me a driving force to want to become more than even what I had thought, initially when I was doing music, So it's motivation coming from a very positive place, and just to make him proud above,
I'm sure you are, man, because you've given me a sneak preview of the EP today, but as we were recording this interview just before we jumped on here. So for me, I already know how good it is, but the listener's going to have to wait an extra week till they hear it. And I feel as if he would definitely be proud of what you've done on this EP, because when did that direction for you to get into music happen? Were you always producing as a young kid first before you became an artist? Were you always surrounded with, being surrounded by the sort of celebrities and the big artists of music from your grandfather's influence?
Well, as a child, I was always told to go in the studio, So I used to do chores around the studio. So sweep up the studio first. You got to respect the equipment that you're working on, and then, growing up more, I used to tune up the instruments before, Grandpa bands, just play keys over some stuff. He'd like, all right, yo, let me test you. Give me D, or give me C, And I'd be there for it, So I've just always been in the studio. Even as a child, I used to just play with pots and pans, So I had a sense of rhythm ever since I was a child, And then my dad is also a bass player. He's the lead arrangement band person for my grandfather as well, and he's also a hit producer. Not sure if you remember Gash Them and Light Them by Chuck Fender, that was produced by my father, and he's worked with Morgan Heritage and a whole heap of other names, So it's a joy to even just be able, because they're so complex. I don't even think I am half or quarter close.
You're definitely getting close on that one. I've seen like the writing credits you've got next to your names with the people like Burna Boy, Chronixx and Sizzla Kalonji. Like, you know, those aren't small names. To be fair, like you really put the work in, right? What do you have any favorite memories of working with some of these artists over the years?
I have so many memories. The thing is, you know, over time is just so much has happened. So sometimes it becomes so, you know, vague. I remember my friend Goldie, my good brethren, I was still in high school, to work on a project. This is me in high school. I'm still in my uniform, everybody. I'm like, yo, you sure? Because at that time I was like, I'm not sure, you know. Chronixx had just come about and I was like, yo, yeah, I definitely want to work on this project. And it did well, you know what I mean? It did what it was supposed to do. And you know, just over the years, it's so funny. Even Lifestyle, which with Toots and Tanto Blacks, that was my beat again. You know what I mean? I had the opportunity of working with a multi-platinum Grammy Award-winning producer, Titimus. You know what I mean? And made a hit. Yeah, it's so.
Well, the hits have been keeping on coming because I absolutely love that we've come to pretty much the week before the massive drop of the brand new EP that you've been working on, the 7 years of dedication. So I've already heard it. You blessed me with a private link to have a little listen.
Yes.
And one of the things I love was the amount of mix of styles you've embodied in the EP. What was your goal setting out when you were creating this EP? Because nowadays with streaming culture, we see people just doing singles here and there, maybe an album. So to do an EP, what was the goal and the drive in mind for this?
Well, the EP is just a body of work of all the years of the, you know, things that I've taken to learn, the time that it took to hone my craft, to even sound this good. You know what I mean? That's what this EP embodies and that's what it represents. You know what I mean? So it's 7 years of dedication. You know what I mean? 7 years of pain, 7 years of disappointments. You know what I mean? So getting it right now, you know what I mean? I had to make a body of work that represented that process.
Well, it's definitely come together so well. It's something I'm really, really loving. I know everyone is going to love it when they come out because I think I feel like even with the production quality in what you've added to, you've almost like taken sounds from a lot of different places. Like there's Afrobeat sounding production on there. You've even got like a UK sounding tip as well on that one on Shine Now. I felt like I was in the UK. Well, I was in the UK, but I felt like I was in the UK when I heard Shine Now. So it was to create all them different styles and kind of nodded to different cultures and different sounds. Was that intentional?
Yes, it is intentional because, you know, you know what I mean? I enjoy traveling, I enjoy seeing different places. I enjoy how different people react to different music, you know what I mean? So I try my best to just kind of fuse that so everybody can just enjoy themselves when they listen to my work, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, and I think like I really love the Afrobeat style production on No Lies as well. You can just definitely hear that from the get-go on that one. And that's not the first time you've kind of worked with Afrobeat style production. You've done the collaboration of Burna Boy and Vybz Kartel, the Personally remix in the past. So, you know, what was it like to kind of dip your toe back into the Afrobeat sound again? Or do you even see it as an Afrobeat sound? Is it just you making what you want to make?
No, it's definitely deliberate in the genre because I give every genre its respect. You know what I mean? Afrobeat is definitely, you know what I mean? I've just been working on those kind of beats as well because it brings out a different side of myself, you know what I mean? Especially when I just have a high respect for like music overall. So I try my best to, you know, do my best whenever I'm going in that lane or, you know what I mean? And then put a piece of myself to it.
Well, I love that kind of how you can kind of bring those styles together. And I kind of want to know like what was the most important part when it comes to making rhythms. Before we talk about you as a vocal talent, as a producer, I'd like to know kind of what comes first because we recently spoke to Joe Mercer Marley and he was saying that when he produces, the first thing he's all about is drums. He's always got a drum beat and he's always tapping and got something going. However, when we interviewed Cranium, he says that melodies are the first thing in his mind. He thinks of melodies before anything else. Do you have a production style and how you always approach things? Do you have something that you do first?
Well, my process is first research. You know what I mean? The first thing I do is research sounds. Sound selection is very important if you actually want to make hit music. You know what I mean? So the first thing I do is research sounds and then I will do melodies depending on the genre of what it is. You see, if it's a more drum-driven genre like Afrobeat, you know, I start off with the drums and then the melody would come. But then if it's more R&B or hip hop, you know what I mean, I go for the melody.
Well, I really love that you're kind of more tapping into that and that you spend so much time picking the right sounds, because I think when I first heard Trod On of the brand new EP as well, the amount of layers of vocals and the work, how the piano and the guitar work in melody together and things like that. You know, like for you, how did you know when you're finished on that track? Because there's so many layers to it. I feel like, how did you know when you're happy with it?
I try not to overthink music. You know what I mean? Music should not be perfect. You know what I mean? Because it needs human element, and that's what's going to make it relatable to the masses. So, you know, I look up to people like Kanye West, where he's like, oh, I made a mistake in this, I'ma leave it. You know what I mean? It's just, we trod on, you know what I mean? Even though how melodious it was, I was like, yo, listen, the voice is going to be the only instrument missing from this. And once I laid the track, I knew it was finished.
Man, and I love that track so well, like so much as well. I feel there's so many different parts to it that like definitely resonate with me as a listener. And one thing you just said there that I really, really love, and I was actually going to say this as I was planning this interview as well, about the Kanye West reference. And it was when I first heard No Mercy. And I felt like the synths in that reminded me of a Kanye tune. Like I felt like I was listening to possibly a Kanye West production. So I'm glad that you said that that's someone who inspires you in that one. Yeah, was that part of that sound picking style again to get those synths right? Because they jump out in the mix on that track.
Well, I definitely study who I look up to. You know what I mean? So I listen to, you know, the process. I listen to the phases or the timing part that person was in, you know what I mean? And I try to study that the best that I can. You know, the best of me with Kanye West, or the best of Kanye West to me, was the old Kanye when he was using, you know, samples like
Curtis Mayfield sample right there.
You know what I mean? It's so soulful, you know what I mean? And it's just like, yo, I think that's where I'm going with it. So, and I always try my best to, and I urge other beats, you know what I mean? Try your best to make a band, you know, or musicians be able to play that over, because, you know, your music won't last if a band isn't able to play it on a stage show. You know, you have all of these fast glitching stuff in your beats, and, you know what I mean, no one is able to play that back, you know what I mean? So I try my best, you know, and to soberly make the decision that, okay, these are the sounds and these are how they should be played. So when it's played back on stage, it sounds amazing. And then you can imagine it sounds even more amplified, because the musicians would just take it and go crazy with that. You know what I mean? So, you know, yeah.
Man, I love that. And I love that in Jamaica, live bands are still so integral in the culture of music creation over there as well. Like we see, you know, the stages throughout the years, all the massive shows in Jamaica, there's always a live band playing. So when you created the tracks off of the brand new EP as well, with Blessings and Living It Up, like those are dancehall tracks as well that have got that live elements ready to go. How excited are you after this whole pandemic to hear those sounds getting played in dances in Jamaica?
Listen, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a whole new epidemic, because, you know what I mean, Blizzi is coming, you know what I mean? And, you know, I've gained the respect of the industry, you know what I mean? So it's just the common man now to say, yo, yeah, Blizzi, you know what I mean? So, you know, the love is always being shown locally and abroad. Anywhere that I go, you know, they get the chance to hear my music, you know, they show me love. So, you know what I mean? It's just going to be an amazing experience.
Well, you know, we've got the full backing here in the UK, man, because the EP doesn't drop for another week. I'm just teasing the people right now by telling them what's going to come. I can guarantee you all right now, Blizzi is an artist you're all going to be known within 1 week's time. Believe me that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So Blizzi, you are on the Gully B show as well. And as we were kind of talking about that nod to the Jamaican culture, the sound system culture as well as having the live bands, I want to know how Blizzi the selector is, because you were a DJ before you were an artist and a producer as well. Was it DJ Blizzard, am I right, was the name?
Yes. So when I was a teenager, I used to play out at clubs, you know what I mean, nightclubs, you know, where us little, I used to go by the name DJ Blizzard. And that's what inspired me to get my first record label, which was DJ Blizzard Music. You know what I mean? So now I believe I've elevated, not really elevated, but you know, I think I'm expressing a different side of myself now. I'm Blizzi. So, you know, it's just Blizzi God Records. You know what I mean? I'm Blizzi God. You know, isn't necessarily saying that I'm God. It's just that I'm putting my name beside the Almighty Father, because with him I get all my strength. You know what I mean? So, you know, Blizzi God Records is just Blizzi going in, like, you know what I mean?
Well, I love that, man. I love the fact that you're so multi-talented. There's not only are you a wicked DJ, you're also a wicked artist, you're also a wicked producer. But I want to take it back to that DJ Blizzard days right now, because you're on the Gully B show and we have the guests always pick their top 5 tunes. So I'm going to make you become a selector yet again. We'll take it back to DJ Blizzard days. What do you want to go for as the first pick on the top 5 today for Blizzi?
All right, so on the first pick, you don't know, we have Skilly Bang, My Gun, you know what I mean?
Now, Blizzi, why is that tune the first pick? What was it? What's it so important to you, and why do you love that song so much?
Well, you know what I mean? Again, I have such a big appreciation for culture, you know what I mean? So the fact that Skilly Bang was able to merge the Jamaican culture with the drill, UK drill, and he did it so perfectly, no doubt.
Wow, man, I absolutely love that one. That whole Prodigy mixtape. I know he's just released the new ladies version. It's almost like 2 full albums worth of music right there from Skilly Bang that's out at the moment. And that tune was the one that I remember trying to source the radio edit of My Gun. It took me so long to lock that one down, but we got there in the end.
Yeah.
So, Blizzi, what do you want to go for as your second pick at the top 5 today?
All right, so yeah, Wizkid and Burna Boy Ginger is my next pick. You know what I mean? It's definitely, I love that track.
So, Blizzi, what made you pick that tune?
Again, I have such a big respect for cultures, you know what I mean? And Wizkid and Burna Boy are giants, you know what I mean, in Afro and even the mainstream world, because Wizkid did tracks with Drake, and you know, you have Burna Boy, you know, winning the Grammy, or you know what I mean? It's just, you know, it's just amazing, you know what I mean, to see and witness such unity, you know what I mean, in the music, to just make a bigger impact across the world.
So what was it like for you when you worked with Burna Boy and Vybz Kartel on the Percy remix? Like, do you have a story behind? Did you guys have to meet up in person, or was that done all abroad and everything?
Well, the thing is, they worked abroad, and I was also I'd linked up with Aisha, you know what I mean, of Unum Consultants, Creed Global, and you know, her husband, True Blue, you know, was working with Burna Boy at the time. Blizzi, I need your beats, dog. I need your beats. So I was like, so who we working with? So it's like Burna Boy. At this time, Burna Boy wasn't, he didn't blow up yet, you know what I mean? So I was like, yo, I feel like I'm going to work on this track simply because I like the name Burna Boy. It sounds like it going, you know, hit. Only to know by a year's time he released Yeah, and that went global, you know what I mean? It was a global hit, and I was like, yo, I had to go back to Aisha. I was like, listen, I appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? So that was the story behind that project, you know what I mean? So it wasn't even like, you know, it was pure of heart, you know, making music. I didn't know who Burna Boy was, you know what I mean? And then to know who he is today, you know what I mean, it's just amazing. That's why I encourage every producer to work with, you know, unknown names, you know what I mean? You don't have to know who this person is to share the love and share the talent, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. That is probably one of the best bits of advice you can give anyone, right? You never know what's going to happen around the corner. So what's the third pick then? Is it going to be that track?
Well, let's kick it with the Burna Boy and Vybz Kartel, produced by True Blue and Blizzi. OMG, Blizzi, you made that.
Absolutely love that tune, and what an exciting story there was behind that one as well. So what do you want to go for then as the fourth pick of the top 5 for Blizzi today?
Well, I'm going to drop myself in the mix. You don't know, it's Blizzi featuring Gold God, Easy Remix.
So how did that collaboration with Gold God come about? Did you guys already, I think you guys had worked together. I know you've worked recently. You were on the same rhythm recently, right?
Right. All right. So Gold God is a good brethren of mine, you know what I mean? And Gold God has always been a creative person, you know what I mean? He's actually a musician as well. So we just clicked once we reached into the studio, and I did the original track Easy, and I was like, yo bro, it's only right that you hop on the remix. And he was like, yeah, did the verse, you know what I mean? We released it, you know, it did very well, you know what I mean? So I just big up Gold God for that.
Well, we absolutely loved it here. We were playing it on the Gully B show earlier on this year, and that's a wicked tune for the 4th pick. So what do you draw for us, the 5th and final pick for Blizzi today on the top 5?
Stylo and Busta Rhymes, produced by Fanatics. Yo, I also look up to Fanatics, you know what I mean? They're just creatively crazy, bro. Like, first of all, like, listen, what? Big up Fanatics, I know them there. You know what I mean? So you don't know, we're getting to Stylo G featuring Busta Rhymes. Outer space.
So, Blizzi, for you, I just saw recently the Fanatics started following you on Instagram as well. Could that be, you know, is there some producer secrets getting swapped between you down the line, maybe?
That's the thing now. It's just a wait and see. But what I can tell you is that we have a Stylo G on the way. You know, me and Kingston Elite have been working. You know what I mean? And, you know, I feel like we have a next summer banger from Stylo G. So,
wow. Heard it here first, guys. That's something we cannot wait for. And I'm so glad that you said that as well, because when we had Stylo G on the show back in October, he told us he had a big hit with a big superstar coming, and it was Outer Space with Busta Rhymes. He wasn't allowed to tell us who the artist was yet, but he told me since then that the track that he was talking about in the interview was Busta Rhymes, Outer Space.
Right.
So maybe this is the next one. You've said it now first. I feel as if he made a prediction like that in his interview. You made a prediction like that in your interview. We're going to see some big tunes with Blizzi and Stylo G this year.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. You know what I mean? As I say, I'm just putting in the work diligently and calmly, you know what I mean? Making all the right decisions, all the right moves, because it's not about how hard you work, you know what I mean? It's about how smart you work. You know what I mean? And being in the correct space, you know what I mean, with the people who are like-minded or, you know, have like-minded visions, you know, to what you'd say, achieve the same goal, you know?
Absolutely. And we've got a wicked thing that's about to drop, the 7 Years of Dedication EP. You've let me have a sneak preview, listen to it, but the listeners are going to have to wait another week. So
definitely.
So Blizzi, I want to say thank you so much for joining us here on the Gully B show. It's been an absolute honor to have you here on the show, and we cannot wait for the EP to drop next week. But why don't you introduce everyone, the world exclusive right here?
Yeah, man. So from here, check the temperature. I don't know, it's the voice of Blizzi representing. Gully B represents radio. Kick it, Island Girl. Drop it.